What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Music Never Stops segment of Moving with Life. Hope you all have been having it's been quite an introduction to the new year, but nonetheless, I hope that at least in your individual case, in your individual situations, hopefully you're getting back to work, you're getting back to school, whether you're a teacher or a student, going to college or whatnot. Hopefully, you're gaining some type of normalcy in your daily life, daily routine. Definitely, I know I feel like I'm catching a rhythm. I'm trying to hang on to it as long as possible, really. But for today, we're jumping into. So I've never done a female artist for the Music Never Stops. So Shania Twain is gonna be the first female that I'm gonna have on here as far as like talking about the song, and then and going from there, and then trying to I don't really have a story today, but I want to go through this song because of the build up and some the build up, and then there's some other things that I do want to. I don't know if I'll necessarily elaborate, but I will explain in more depth once we get through the first listening. I always say, I don't own any of these songs. I never claim to. I never say they're mine, or I never alter them as well to make them mine. It's just, this is all for pure entertainment purposes, and to be able to share stories and just have a short Friday conversation before we get ready for the weekend. But yeah, here's a Shania Twain with "I'm Out of Here."
Now let me make it clear to you.
have it. I'm Outta Here by Shania Twain. Such a good song. It's a good song for one. I actually hadn't. What got me into looking up more Shania Twain was the fact of her current drummer for her Vegas shows, at least. His name's Elijah Wood, I believe, and awesome drummer, cool. He has some like videos that he uploaded, and this was one of the songs that he has like from his GoPros that he's uploaded to YouTube. And so that's what first got me in. I'm like, okay, cool. Like it was cool to watch. And the biggest thing I think that I'm gonna draw from just today's episode, and for today's episode, we'll stick with just now and today. But the biggest takeaway that I've had is just that live environment, that live show. Especially, I'm sure I've talked about it, and I'll probably talk about it again. Then whenever I get my music friends on here and we start talking about music, I know a lot of us, we resort to just the feeling and the emotion you get when you're on stage, and then also like just going to live shows. When we go watch Kevin Fowler, Randy Rogers, who else? I've seen Randy Houser, and several. I mean, I got to see George Strait once. That was pretty cool. The point of this whole thing is just the live show, the dynamic, the interaction with the crowd, and I'm gonna try something for this song, because I'm gonna try to have the video on as well. I gotta see after I do this that I need to see if I am gonna be able to make that happen, which I shouldn't see a problem with it, but there shouldn't be a problem with it, but I'll at least have the song up, and then you'll be able to hear the crowd. Obviously, that it's a live show. So the live show, this happened back in 2003, which I didn't know it was that long ago. So when I found this, so there's a series of videos from this concert. I think I'm certain it was a 2-day show, and upon watching the first video, and then I kept watching, and she has like different like wardrobes. I'm like, I think this was like a whole weekend. It was like a Friday night and a Saturday night, maybe like an hour each or something. And obviously they have to choose that with the producing and all that stuff. They have to choose the best songs and the flow of it. Make sure they're not repeating stuff and whatnot. But I think it was 2 days. I can't remember. But it was when her album Up came out, and it was like different versions. And she had new music, and she had been off the grid for a little while. At least that's what she mentions in one of the videos. But I'll have this video in the show notes as well. But the song itself, I didn't realize, because this song, even though this recorded in 2003, it sounds so modern, just so crisp. It sounds so good. And when you watch the video, you'll notice she has like 3 fiddle players. She has a piano player who does like other percussion stuff. The drummer, steel / lap steel guitar player, 2 electric guitar players. Am I missing anything? I'm trying to think of I'm thinking left to right. I think I covered everybody as far as musicians go. But it's pretty cool. I mean, something like this where it's gonna be televised, they obviously have a budget, to be able to make the show the best possible. They probably opened it up so that they can have as many musicians and cover, make sure there's no not loose holes. Make sure all the bases are covered as far as musicianship, and then whatever the song's called for. Oh, bass guitarist. So that's probably the only thing I missed. So bass guitarist, 3 fiddle players, 2 guitar players, the lap / steel, the drummer, and then I can't remember if I mentioned keyboard and auxiliary, but around there it's almost 8-9 people. Plus Shania Twain singing throughout singing the parts. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, the song came out in 1995. It was written by Robert John Lange and Shania Twain, which is pretty cool because even at this time, I know things were changing as far as like artists becoming more involved in their songwriting. If you look at a lot of the 90s, it's the artists did the art, and songwriters were the there was a split, versus I feel like in today's society. And I actually have a friend that I am going to get on here for some music talk, but for the sake of just this one-on-one conversation, it's not that it never existed as far as songwriting and then doing your own art, but I feel like today, in today's era, the Americana, like there's just different scopes where the songwriter is now able to do the artist thing too. It's a matter of just pushing through, and even like someone like Sean McConnell, like where he's been writing for forever, and even now that like he's always been pushing his own stuff, but with that push, he's also been songwriting for others. That he's like, hey man, I think this, and then building rapport. He has songs with Randy Rogers, he has songs with Wade Bowen, songs with Little Big Town. Several songs out there in general where like you'll see Sean McConnell's name on there, but seeing him live, I'm sure I've talked about him too, where it's like his show is amazing and his vocal, it's hard to beat really. I mean he's one of the best vocalists live too that I've ever heard. And so just going back to this is John Lange and then Shania Twain, John I'm making that up, Robert John Lange. So yeah, Robert John Lange and Shania Twain wrote the song. It was released in 1995 on... What's it? It was released on the Woman in Me record. Which was in 1995. It's probably the biggest thing is just like this series of songs and this song in particular. This series of songs, this song in particular, is just the vibe. The way she sounds on the record is the way she sounds live, and it's pretty cool because again, this is 2003. This is seven going on 18 years ago. I don't know what month it came out, but it came out in 2003. It was live in Chicago, and it was probably like ABC or NBC that hosted it. Most likely, I'm assuming. But yeah, just the whole live vibe and her. That's what I was trying to tie in from Sean McConnell to watching her. It's like she, I'm realizing even now that she was really one of those pioneers where, she was very involved in the songwriting process, but then in her live show and really like the Live in Vegas show. There's some behind the scenes footage on YouTube that I kind of dipped into, but it's really like just behind the scenes. I like seeing like the musicians interacting and why this musician's doing this, and so that's just me. That's just my preference. But even then, she's so involved in just everything from what it seems, like from the wardrobe, obviously the song list and the way it's done, but the way that things are performed to the choreography that's done. It's really cool seeing an artist that has, for the sake of argument, has made it to what to even to I guess at any level, but at her level, I feel like sometimes there's so many things that are going on that the artist isn't allowed to be an artist anymore, and like so like there's a lot of like things that they're not being cut short, but they are being automated for the sake of the show, and because this artist, let's just say this is pure example of opinion, and not even opinion, just a pure example. Let's say Carrie Underwood, super popular, a lot of hit songs, probably a lot of things to do, plus her family. So, her schedule pre-COVID, it's probably just full because she has so many things to do. And so, to watch this video and be amped up and know that she was probably, like Shania Twain was probably super involved in the development and production of the show, and then what she was doing now when she was in Vegas, doing those shows, those house shows. For me, it's really cool to see. It makes me miss live music even more. I hope. At this point, I'd even take those drive-in concerts. There was a few here nearby where I'm at. There's a couple of like outdoor venues that were hosting things, but there was no artist that took my that captured my attention. When I'm like, oh yeah, I'm waiting to go there and watch the show. But I watch a lot of live music. Them. I'm trying to see who else I want to bring. Via these segments to talk about like their live show and their live production, whether I've seen it live whether I've actually seen it live or even like watched in the live footage on YouTube, captures my attention to where like it makes me miss going to shows, playing shows, being with my friends on stage, having fun, getting into a groove, going through transitions, knowing that we have these shows, knowing that we have this night, hour or 60 to 90 minute sets locked in, but then being able to watch people, like Josh Turner. Josh Turner was actually one of the best shows I've seen live. For me, I liked it that he played a lot of his stuff verbatim. Sometimes some of these artists, they like to change things up. They like to change like some instrumentation, or maybe they can't bring a certain instrument on the road with them for whatever reason. Whatever the budget calls for. Excuse me. But someone like Josh Turner, Easton Corbin's another good one. I actually didn't get to see Easton Corbin's show because we had a show right after, like immediately after him. But getting to watch his sound check and how good a musician he is, that was cool. That was watching him kind of like do his thing with his guys is like, oh man, that's really cool. And then like upon finishing sound check, him and his keyboard player were still kind of like, just jamming out a little bit, just acoustic guitar and the piano. That was a keyboard, piano, whatever. That's really cool. Really cool to see. Oh, cool. So it's not on this video, but I wanted to mention for the sake of like it brought me back to like how far long ago 2003 was. 'Cause I didn't realize, I haven't realized how far 2003 was, because it still feels like I still remember doing things in 2003. But in one of the other videos, it was either I'm Gonna Get You Good or Any Man of Mine. It was one of those, and they go to a crowd shot, and this girl, probably like freaking let's just say 13, 14 years old, but she's there with a old school cell phone, so definitely not touchscreen. Like iPhones weren't even out yet until they came out like 2004 maybe. Anyways, it definitely was not it wasn't even a flip phone. That was part of the most nostalgic part. Was like it was the phones before the flip phone, and it was probably like a Nokia or something, and they're playing the show, and they go to a crowd shot, and she's there holding this phone, and I remember like that being kind of a thing. And I remember one time being on the receiving end of this, like I can't hear anything, like just hang up and just call me later. But like, oh, like, hey, I'm here at this show, and I do remember that being a thing. So there's some nostalgia there too, which is pretty cool, memorable, I guess. But I guess that's the last point I want to bring up for today's episode of The Music Never Stops. My camera's lagging for some reason. It's kind of annoying. But anyhow, I will leave you all with some music. It's gonna be this, I'll finish this off appropriately. But hope you all have a good weekend. Hope you enjoyed this segment. Hope you enjoyed this show. This part of the show, Fridays I try to do, something music related because it's the end of the weekend. Last week was, a little different just because of what was going on in my personal life. But that's moving with life, and The Music Never Stops is a part of that. And I do hope, as I continue doing episodes and continue thinking of how I want to go about life and learning new things and remembering old things and trying to bring stuff that's relevant back and whatnot. Whether it's in conversation with my friends, as you've seen, I had Freddie on yesterday, Brian on last week. That was pretty neat. I'm trying to have my cousin Matt on pretty soon. He's been on before. And then, as this year rolls on, at least at the minimum, as this year rolls on, bring in as many episodes as I can for the year of 2021, and then and bringing something of substance. Even it's like having some live music play, so that we can having some live music play. So just kind of reminisce, but then be hopeful and be okay with hope, so that once we get the vaccine, once I got the vaccines already, so once more people start getting the vaccine, and hopefully this thing takes a turn for the better, then we can start getting those live shows again. And whether it's, and I'm ready for some comedy too. I've gone into comedy like pretty in depth, I say, in 2020. So to get out to watch some comedy shows, to watch some live music, I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, I will leave you all with that, and I hope you all have a good weekend. Be safe. If you need a friend, call. All of my links are in the show notes. Always accessible. And yeah, we'll see you all very, very soon.